So 2024 has come to a close, and usually I get this video out sooner in the new year. It's my full year recap of everything I earned because I want to be transparent with you guys. I don't think I have anything to hide. More than anything, I want people to see that there are opportunities out there and that if I can do it, I'm not even doing it that well. You know, I could work harder, I could try harder. I've got 3 kids and 2 brain cells left. So if you want to get started and try to do something like this and copy what I do, you know, word for word, frame by frame, listing by listing, please do it and do better. So that's why I share with you, but we're a little bit late just because life got busy and I got sick. And every time I wanted to sit down and film this, I was like, we didn't have the numbers ready. TJ already filed all of our 2024 taxes because he is Ned Flanders.
Oh, January 1st. Better get going on those taxes, Nettie.
So we have everything done, and I want to go over the numbers with you guys. These are my gross numbers, so just keep that in mind, and I'll kind of go over what I keep versus what, you know, fees are taken out of certain items so that you get a better picture of, like, you know, what I'm actually keeping after all of that. I earn income from eBay. All of this started by selling pre-owned clothing and shoes on eBay. All of this started. So I like to say I earned this income from selling used clothes because that's where it all came from. That's the foundation upon which I built any of this, which still blows my mind. I'm like, how is this real? But so I primarily sell on eBay. I find clothes that I thrift, bins, yard sales, garage sales, anywhere that I can find stuff that I think I can flip, I go and I do it and I share it with you. Every time I go out and find something cool, I film it and then I put that footage on YouTube and people watch, they learn, they laugh with me, they laugh at me. It's all good, we have a good time. And I've been doing this now for 8 years, which is like hard to like, it's unbelievable. We're coming up on 8 years. I think this summer it's officially 8 years. So, and YouTube has been about 7 years, a 7-year journey. So I'm gonna go over all of that with you. This year on eBay, my total sales, we're gonna include, eBay was just shy of $50,000 in gross sales, and local sales, Amazon sales, I still had a few FBA sales. I don't really do Amazon anymore. We can talk about that in a second. Anything that like Poshmark, random here or there, or sometimes I sell things right on my website, and not often, but if I sell something on my website, I've included that. Those are just like my sales of things that I have found and am flipping. So we can estimate that to be around just over $50,000, which is kind of what I'm gonna lump it into. I didn't like dig down and go into like all of the exact numbers with that, but eBay was just shy of 50,000, and then anything extra boosts it to just over $50,000. And I don't keep all of that. So for eBay especially, I think I've calculated with you guys and I've talked about, you know, my spreadsheet. I tend to net about 55 to 60% of the things that I sell on eBay. From that 50,000, you can, you know, estimate between 27 and 30,000 is what I like netted after everything. Which, considering this year especially, 2024 was my slowest year for like me working on eBay. I took a lot of breaks, mental health breaks you can call them, mental breakdown breaks, we can call it that too. Just burnout breaks. We took a lot of breaks with eBay. I just needed a second. And lots was going on in the last year, and I'm totally fine and life is really good. But that's kind of why I started a second channel. So if you guys haven't seen it, I have a chill at home mom channel that I just barely started, where I just blabber on and I probably overshare, but I talk more about the things that are going on in my private life, thoughts I have, books I like, all that good stuff. So if you want to subscribe, you totally can. But I go into more detail there. We don't need to talk about it here. So I just kind of needed a little bit of a separation with eBay. And I also, you know, wasn't as hardcore about my like core principles with eBay. Listing every day, sending offers regularly. I had long periods where I just didn't list, didn't send offers, didn't really do a whole lot. I slowed down. It was just really busy with crew. It was, you know, he was 2. So like we had a lot going on there. We had a lot going on. I don't know, I could blame it on whatever. I also just probably got lazy. You know, I got out of the habit, and it happens. Even to me, doing this for so many years, I just kind of got out of my routine, got out of my habit. I got very overwhelmed with social media stuff, which we'll get into that income next. It's really hard to juggle both. So I was prioritizing one and not prioritizing eBay, which is my bread and butter, my base foundation. And I don't want to do that again. Coming into this year, I do plan to have much more consistent sales, much more consistent listing. I'm feeling back in my groove and I'm like excited about it again, which makes me feel excited. Probably because I've come to the decision that like, I'm gonna handle eBay myself. I photograph, I list, I share that burden with you guys, anyone who's starting on their own, so that you know that like we're in this together. I just like having it in my own hands. So once I like decided that, and then I'm not gonna really hire out, my kids help with shipping and I pay them to do that, then I felt suddenly like excited, like, okay, I'm gonna take ownership of that. And then suddenly I was like excited about it again. I know, I can't explain it. I don't know, I think I just feel much better about where I'm at now and what I'm facing. I had too many balls in the air and it was hard to focus on just one thing. I'm rambling, stop. So next we have YouTube. So like I said, I take the things that I find, I film awkwardly, and then I post it on YouTube. I have editor Riff who helps me with that. And my YouTube AdSense total was just over 68,000, and that's just with like YouTube, you know, income. That's just the ads I put in videos, and I also took breaks from YouTube being as consistent as I should have been. So it's down 7% from last year, which is completely understandable. I think too, if we're gonna like jump into YouTube, I burnt out a little bit because I had so much that I wanted to do and I was being pulled in so many different directions and I didn't have such a good focus. I feel like I burnt out with YouTube too. Like not just eBay, but like YouTube stuff, I just didn't feel excited about filming. I wasn't, you know, I would get excited like the second I would get out there and like pull my camera out and like find cool stuff, then like the excitement comes. But the original fun excitement like wasn't quite there. So it was harder to just get out and film. And I also was, you know, letting myself, again, I talk about this every year and it's like, Ashley, like when are you gonna get it? And I think I finally have. I just cared too much. I cared too much about what people thought. I cared too much about comments. I cared too much about not even really comments and other people, but I cared too much about like friends, neighbors, and family thought. And I started to feel really down because it, you know, I heard through the grapevine, I won't say, we don't need to talk about like who it was or whatever, but I would hear through the grapevine that like behind my back, oh, she's trying to be an influencer or whatever. And influencer's like a bad word, like in our day and age, whatever. And I just let that get to me, and I know I shouldn't. I know, and I think I've let that go. I really do think I've let that go. Finally, I've gotten excited again. I'm like, I think 40, something about turning 40 just freed me mentally. And I don't care. This is my era of I don't care. I just want to do what I want to do and make money and be happy and provide for my family and have cool adventures and like live the fullest, coolest, amazing life that like I want to. And I don't really have to care what anyone else thinks about that, right? To fully discard what people think, like I don't think is healthy. So of course I care what people think to an extent, but like I don't, the stuff that like makes me happy and I think is pretty harmless, having my little corner of the internet where I share the things I find, I think is pretty harmless. So if I want to do that, I don't want to be ashamed of it anymore. So anyway, that's that. So the biggest area, surprisingly for me, the largest amount of income was from sponsorships. They were very good this year. I don't know if it's just overall businesses investing more money into so-called influencers or social media or having people shout out their products. It's definitely becoming more mainstream. I think we are very used to seeing people in most YouTube videos have some kind of sponsor that helps them through it or multiple sponsors per video. And because it's becoming more, you know, palatable and more, it's less like stigmatized, then I think the offers have been a little bit higher. My channel hasn't grown like a ton. You know, my views per video aren't necessarily like better or worse than they've been. It's pretty mainline. I've always had a very steady, slow growth. Nothing's ever popped off except for like one video. So my total from sponsorships was 130,000, but that's before I have a team that finds sponsorships for me, helps negotiate because I'm a horrible negotiator. Before I had this team help me, I would I'd be like, oh, $100, cool. Yes, $100 for saying something, you know? And so I pick brands that I like, I pick good brands that I think are cool, and they take 20%. So that brings the total for sponsorships down to just over 100,000, and that blows my mind. I mean, I never thought, I would hear influencers like Graham Stephan talk about how he makes a certain amount of money with sponsorships, and I was like, whoa. So the fact that like sponsorships outperformed AdSense is crazy to me. A lot of the sponsorships were for short form content, which I'm not so good at, but I need to be better at. I want to focus on that because that can be really lucrative and it can be really cool and it could be a cool way to connect. A lot of people like do it better. I've always focused on the long form content with YouTube because I just feel like it helps me connect with you guys better, and you know, short form can be a lot crueler in the comments. So as far as like my Instagram and my TikTok go, they're very small and I haven't really focused on growing them a ton. The next stream of income, the last stream of income, I guess you could say, I just lumped them all together. I do get affiliate like kickbacks when anyone uses like my Amazon links in the description. I also get it when I shout out like the reseller tax course. If you sign up for that, I get a little kickback. You know, if you sign up for Whatnot, I get a little kickback, things like that, where I just get, it's completely passive. I just have the link, and if you click it, I will get, you know, a few pennies thrown my way. And that added up to about $4,000, which, and I also do merch, so surprisingly, on Amazon merch. This is not like my website. I sold some of my own merch this year, but on Amazon, you can design t-shirts. I only did it for like a little bit, like a couple years ago. I should, but I've never like grown it. And just those few t-shirts that I designed are still making me money every single month, around $20 to $40 a month from just t-shirts that I designed 2 years ago. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Mid-video drink. All of my gross numbers add up to 253,000 total from 2024. That really blows my mind. I just didn't even know that was possible. I'm just like, I had to add it up several times. I mean, if you take out, of course we have to take out, you know, the percentage that I give to the sponsorship company. You know, I pay Editor Riff, and he's been such a game changer for my channel, 100%. If I've grown, it's because he's so good and it's taken a lot off my plate, and it's been really, really awesome to have him. But I pay him for videos, and I pay like eBay fees and which I already talked about. So it does bring that number down, but the fact that like this is even possible on a schedule that I created for myself, it's just crazy. I went into this wanting to make $1,000 a month. That was like my goal from the get-go. I want to make an extra $1,000 a month to save up for trips for my family, or to, you know, I just had like these small goals, and it's surpassed what I ever thought was possible. And what's cool is like, I want to keep seeing what's possible. I have to dream bigger because I think really the sky's the limit. And if I just stop being my own worst enemy, I think that's it. That's like the bottom line. If I can just stop getting in my own way, I really do think the sky's the limit. And I believe that for all of you too. I think we all just have to get out of our own way, our own thinking, our own negativity, or what are people gonna think of me, or am I being awkward, am I being cringy, or they don't like me, or they're judging me, you know, whatever you wanna think. The bottom line is like what makes you happy and what's possible. And I think it's cool now. The thing is, like, when you start, it's never cool. I think people are more likely to say now, at least to my face, like, oh, it's really cool what you've built. And I have wonderful people around me. I don't want to think that like there's like snakes who are like talking behind my back, because I really don't think people are like that in general. But you know, there's just gonna be the few that aren't necessarily like friends, or just like kind of acquaintances who are just gonna talk. But like, I think for the most part, you know, when you start, that's when it's kind of tricky, because you're starting and people want to be supportive, but you know, you're getting like 1 or 2 views and you're small beans and no one really cares. Or you're starting eBay and people might be like, what are you doing? Like, it's different, but it is a way to earn income. When you're starting, it can be discouraging, and you're going to like at least for me, I think I made $30 my first year on YouTube, and then the second year I made $400. And then it jumped from there because I actually started to try and be more consistent to about $28,000. And now it's grown more, but with those sponsorships, it's even grown more. And that's when it's really cool, but like, starting out can be tricky. I would encourage anyone who's hesitant, who doesn't know, it's going to look ugly, it's gonna be ugly, it's gonna not be seamless, it's going to just, it's not gonna feel right or look right, but do it. Like, just put it out there, even if it is cringy. I've heard so many times, I cannot remember like the original source, but in order to be successful, at least on social media, you have to climb cringe mountain, which is so true. I'm still cringy, and I was so cringy in old videos, but like, you have to do that in order to like get to this point where I think people would look and think, oh my gosh, she's just so lucky. But I definitely climbed cringe mountain, and I climbed late night mountain, and I don't want to do this mountain, and I hate this mountain, and I'm gonna delete everything mountain. I'm closing down my eBay store. I'm frustrated. I mean, there's been days where I've had $800 in returns in one day. You know, that's discouraging. So what's in store for this year? What I have is I want to post more content, try, you know, really be consistent with once a week, and I'm going to try to not make it perfect every single time or try to make it, you know, just right or agonize over the algorithm as much. My goal is to just post more and to post more freely and to just not be so anxious, because it is really nerve-wracking to like check the status of a video, and if you put tons of work into it and it's not doing well, you just go down this spiral. And I'd rather just put more fun content, connect with you guys better, and just hang out more and not agonize over like every single video. So that's a goal. And then my second channel, I want to keep it real with you guys, and that's been really fun. Even just the few videos I've put out, to just like chat and be real and have very minimal edits. That one's much more raw, and like if there are edits, it's just a couple, and I just post and we chat and we hang out. It's more of a, do you want to hang out while you list or work? Come hang out with me and I'll tell stories, or I'll be whatever, give some advice or tell you at least what I did wrong. What's cool about this job is you're only limited by your creativity. That's like my creativity and my boldness are the only things that are holding me back. And I just hope that I can have the habits in place for when I inevitably will feel discouraged or down again. I want to keep those habits and be more stringent about them, even if I'm feeling burnt out or I'm feeling less than, or if I just keep those habits, I think that'll be really good. But I hope I don't feel burnt out and I don't feel less than. When my kids get home, I do not work. We block off that time because I don't want them to like, unless I'm teaching them something, I just don't want them to feel like mom is distracted. And then intentionally having like my own nerd out time where I can just read, relax, have my cozy corner, do a hobby, practice drawing, practice, you know, things that make me feel fulfilled, watch a show that I'm interested in, and that helps me to feel like a person again. So, but I'm really excited about this upcoming year. I'm blown away by what happened this past year. I didn't think it would be this high. I was like, I took so many breaks and I really burnt out a little bit, but this year I'm excited again. This year I feel like there's so much opportunity, and there's a freedom I'm feeling that I haven't in a while. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. If you want to watch my thrift videos, or you want to follow along on this journey of how I do what I do, subscribe and join us. There's 200,000 of us now, and it's so fun. We try to keep it fun over here. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in the next one.